Or as they like to say, Mark Set Go. We are live. Hello, everybody. This is an exciting episode. Very exciting. This is Troy, and I am here with
Janna, your friendly hypnotherapist. And this
super.
is the best episode ever. I've been so excited about this episode. The buffalo milk episode, ladies and gentlemen.
And, normally we have our HypnoTalk with Janna and Troy, but now we're going to replace that with this, which is what is buffalo milk? And if you want to join us, I have just put the link in to the live YouTube stream in the comments over to your right. And if you want to join us, click on that link. You will end up in our studio, virtually, of course. And I will bring you up on stage. And then you get to talk to us on whatever. Buffalo milk. We're just doing free play right now.
Yes.
And Janna.
Yes, sir.
Guess what?
What?
We have a special in-studio guest. My one and only brilliant brother, Joe Vassallo.
Hey, Joe. How are you?
He says hello.
Buffalo milk taster extraordinaire.
He can vouch for buffalo milk, and we're gonna make some right here, right now. All right? Yes?
If you don't know, there should be, before we get this started.
Yes.
If anybody already knows what buffalo milk is, don't Google it. Like, you'd have to be sort of a local SoCal native probably to know that. I'll give you a hint. It does not come from a buffalo, which, okay, technically that also is buffalo milk, but that's not the buffalo milk we are talking about here today. So if there should be a prize, don't you think, for somebody who knows what buffalo milk is?
Yeah.
And they should win, I don't know, maybe, I don't know what they should win.
What do you think? I think maybe they can join us in Southern California and drink buffalo milk with us.
I think that, yeah.
They get to experience the Janna and Troy experience. They get to experience the experience in person.
Yes.
What do you think?
I think we should get going on this because the whipped cream on mine is starting to go down.
I see it's like getting a little, deflated, depuffy. Yeah. Okay, so.
I could always just put more on though, huh?
The first time you mentioned the buffalo milk, I kind of threw up in my mouth a bit and went, because it just sounds, right, Joe? Buffalo milk just sounds bad.
Sounds gross.
Yeah.
It didn't just go, that sounds just so delicious. It just didn't do that for you.
No, just bad. But then you told me what was in it and what it tasted like. And look right down here, streaming is all the ingredients. Now, it took much trial and error yesterday with Mr. Joe here. I love the shirt, by the way. That shirt is so on point.
Yes.
Now, Joe, how many times did it take till we perfected the recipe? Second time.
And Joe, on a scale from 1 to 10, rating the recipe you liked the most, what would you have given it?
8.7.
Wow.
The first time I gave it a 7.
It's always nice to know that there's more perfecting that we could do later on, though.
Yes, and then the second time I gave it, what did I give it? Like a 9.1, and I think it was a bit too sweet for my taste. And he's like me; we don't really like sweet type of beverages, right?
Yes. So I've got mine here.
Okay, now look.
You got to see the glass first. Look at this. There's an elephant on there. My friend gave me this. She made this glass and she gave it to me for Christmas several years back, and it says 1 bite at a time.
I love that.
Although today it might just be 1 sip at a time. That might be the way we go.
Okay, so Janna.
Okay. Okay, this is better than I thought. I was criticizing myself for too much ice, but I was wrong. This is my last meal on a desert island food right here.
Oh, it's good. I'll take that with some In-N-Out hamburgers, like a non-ending supply of In-N-Out hamburgers.
In-N-Out and buffalo milk.
Yeah,
That's it.
like if I want to have some cocktails, watch the sunset, buffalo milk.
Yeah. Okay, so the story behind buffalo milk, if you're like, why do they call it buffalo milk? It's a Catalina island. If you guys are not from California and you're not familiar with the geography, Catalina is the Channel Island that's really closer to my house. It's a popular destination spot. And some years ago, buffalo got loose on Catalina. They brought buffalo over and they escaped and reproduced. And so Catalina Island is very famous for buffalo. There's a tiny little town. It's not a town. It's a harbor called Two Harbors. It's at the Isthmus of Catalina, and there's a little bar there and a beach, and that's pretty much it. There's the Banning House where you can pay a lot of money every night to stay, but it's really just that simple little place. And in the little bar, they made up the drink. I could actually Google and find out what the bartender's name is, but this is maybe 40, 50 years ago. It's been a long ass time ago. So it spread to the rest of the island. So now even up in the tourist area of Avalon, most of the restaurants and bars there offer buffalo milk. And my significant other and I were avid sailors, and we were sailing to Two Harbors, and he started saying, you know, I can't wait till we get there. You got to try a buffalo milk. I can't believe you've been to Catalina and you've never tried a buffalo milk. And I'm like, okay, I'll try buffalo
Nor have
milk.
I've never had it either.
Yeah, I was a little bit like Troy. I wouldn't say I actually threw up in my mouth, but it wasn't the most appetizing thing. And
Just
I'm not a
the
big
thought
drinker.
of milking a buffalo and
Yeah.
I,
To say I'm not a big drinker is putting it very, very mildly. Like, I just basically don't. But we were going to be there, and it was a festive occasion. There's a paddleboard race from the Isthmus of Catalina to San Pedro, and we were an escort boat for one of the paddlers. So we met up with friends over there, and we're sitting around, and Steve goes, well, I'll get a buffalo milk. And I'm like, oh no, that's okay. I'll just have some water. And the whole table looked at me like, are you nuts? And I said, look, I'll just have a sip or two of yours. You know, for one thing, I already knew, I had heard what was in it. Like you guys know with a stream, you know what's in it. It sounded okay, but consider the calories. I mean, the official recipe says milk. You know, yeah, there goes milk, but it's really half and half or heavy cream. And so I was getting, me with my body image issues, and I've got some body dysmorphic bullshit that I've always had. I'm looking at that, I'm going, oh, hell no, I'm not going to get fat on that.
But we know that's all just a story.
It's all, well,
story
I didn't know
you
that
made up.
then. I didn't know it was a story then until I tasted the buffalo milk, and I'm there, and he goes, make sure you get the straw down to the bottom, because there's this Kahlua at the bottom, you know.
You made that really good. Very, very nicely
I could have used more Kahlua. So I'm like, okay, and I'm like, now, nobody has ever accused me of being able to maintain a poker face. So basically what happened is my eyes rolled back into my head, and I literally started yelling, oh my God, that's the best thing I've ever tasted. and Steve says, well, would you like your own? And I said, no, I'll just have a sip of yours occasionally. I'm fine with my yummy, delicious glass of water here, which, by the way, was complete bullshit. And so then
buffalo milk versus water
with the group, and I'm trying not to just keep drinking his, right?
Okay.
So Steve is very tolerant of me, and eventually his glass was almost empty. And people over there were buying us rounds of buffalo milks, and thank God I ended up with my own buffalo milk in front of me. And by this time, I realized my belief system in my head just had to change.
But then it did.
Well, pretty much. And I realized, that's when I realized how much of a story I tell myself on a regular basis, whether it's about my body image or whether it's about what alcohol is and what it isn't and what it can do and what it can't do. See, I come from a family that a popular social story in this country would say, everybody in my family is a flaming alcoholic. Okay. And there's evidence, you know, there's dead people in my family that got that way from drinking. And there's a lot of that. So I grew up feeling very frightened of that. I watched.
Yes.
And this isn't just my immediate family. I mean, 2 in my immediate family, but like the extended family. And it is true that my system, after I drank this yummy, delicious buffalo milk, the next day wanted another one. It didn't want it a little bit.
Well, it is.
It wanted it a lot.
I'll tell you this. Okay, so I have everything here, by the way. Mix blender. Tito's. One of the very few things I like from Texas. Oh, don't flame me out there.
Let's not go there.
Me.
Let's not.
It's okay. It's okay. And remember, we're doing free play, so it's all good. Creme de coco. Creme de banana. And it says coffee liqueur, but you could use Kahlua. And as Janna mentioned, half and half instead of milk. Much creamier and thicker. Now,
very important.
Like sweet, you can use whipped cream. Not really much of a sweet guy. Nor is Joe. But okay, so we're going to start out with ice.
Wait, you didn't show them your shirt.
This way. The Rat Pack. Well, for those of you who don't know, some of them, they probably wouldn't know the fourth guy, right? Everybody knows Sammy, Dean, and Frank, right? But a lot of people don't know Peter Lawford, and there he is.
Oh, yeah.
Peter.
In a house in Malibu.
4 blocks from
here. Oh, and then they have the other guy, Joey. Is that Joey Bishop? Wow, who knew all of the Rat Pack? He lived here?
4 blocks away.
Peter Lawford, right? Peter Lawford lived here in Palm Springs. We are in Palm Springs. We're doing this remote. Peter Lawford lived 4 blocks away.
Well, he also lived in Malibu at some point. So maybe he had another house there.
Do what? Sorry.
Maybe he also lived in Malibu at one point.
Did he?
Maybe, yeah. So I know maybe he had a second house.
I bet. Oh, and this too. Banana.
You know, I was so excited to drink mine that I didn't get the banana garnish, which means I'm going to have to put more whipped cream on top.
Well, I hate when that happens. Okay, so we're going to do our measuring right here, right? So for every, I'm making 2 drinks here, one for me, one for Joe. And what it says is 1 unit of vodka, half a unit of everything else, okay? Now, we're going to drizzle the Kahlua in afterwards so you get, as Janna showed you, that nice little, I guess you could say, the dark Kahlua at the bottom. And when you drink it with your straw, right, your straw is in the Kahlua, Janna, and it tasted pretty good, huh?
I love it like that, yeah.
Okay.
And that's when you see Troy do this, you'll be so impressed. I mean, his skill set his mini
Janna,
talents are
lots
just
of
like so vast.
practice.
But
Lots of
Look
practice.
at the mastery.
See, my biggest fan over there, and I am your biggest fan because, hey, you know, you're awesome. But, and you are the one that turned me on to the buffalo milk. You know, this is
And
like,
I broke through my issues with alcohol. Here's the thing.
that's great.
When it comes, and I have helped many people quit drinking who have issues with drinking. And you may say to yourself, Janna, if there's all these flaming alcoholics in your family and you had a craving for buffalo milk the next day, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? Here's what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
The reason people drink more than they should is because they choose to pick up a cup and put it in their mouth. How do you stop? You do not pick up the cup and put it in your mouth. You say,
Yes.
alcoholics can't stop. And I say, yes,
They can.
they can. They may not enjoy stopping. They may decide that feeling uncomfortable is more important to anesthetize than stopping, but they're choosing to pick it up and put it in their mouth. Now,
The drink does not fly into their mouth, just like the cookie doesn't fly into the mouth. Your chocolate cake does not fly into your mouth.
Right. So I can say that I am genetically predisposed to go down to the alley and drink Ripple out of a brown paper bag.
I love that, to go down into the alley.
Yeah, I could do that, but
Oh.
mindfulness. So when I'm having my buffalo milk here, I'm not giving it the power over me.
True that.
The reason that I'm drinking the buffalo milk is because I enjoy spending time with you out there in YouTube land and Troy. And this is fun for me. And this buffalo milk is absolutely delicious. Now, if I want one tomorrow, I'm not going to have one. And this is a personal decision I'm making. To me, it's a special occasion. I'm not going to drink it because I have social anxiety and I only feel comfortable talking to other people if I have a drink. I'm not going to drink it because my physical body is going to crave it tomorrow, which it will. I'm not going to drink it because I'm anxious, worried, or afraid about the terrible things that are going on in my life. I'm going to drink it when there's a special occasion. And for me, no more than once every 2 weeks, a drink. Why?
And this is a special
Because
occasion
I have
right
a
here.
predisposition to my body reacting in a very special way to alcohol. Not everybody is the same. You may have a buffalo milk every day if you want to.
I would turn out to be super fat for real.
Yeah.
And look, I had nothing against fat people, but it's just not my thing. Sorry.
I don't think you could get fat if you tried.
You know, I ran a donut shop and I never got fat.
Okay, yeah, I already put a curse on you. I told you that.
Yeah.
Someday you'll get really fat. It's not fair.
Because you know, I love fat pets. I love fat cats. I love fat dogs. I love. Yeah, I love fat pets.
And their little hips.
And then look, see, open your banana.
Okay, wait. I'm leaving the frame to get the banana.
Yes.
It's over there. I'm going.
Okay. So, for those of you out there making this, be very careful with your blended supplies because you got to make sure all the ice is blended. You don't want big chunks of ice in your drink. Now, garnish with banana, a little tiny circle, just like that. On the rim of the glass. Actually, I should do the Kahlua first before I garnish. Yes? Yes.
I'm just shoveling chunks of banana in mine. There's different styles. There's the I don't give a shit and I just want the banana in my mouth style, or there's the I'm a refrain. Look at him do this. This is the part that you're. For some reason, he knew.
Aha!
Look
at
at
that.
okay, that's like 25 times
Look at
more
that.
Kahlua than Two Harbors puts in theirs. But I'm not judging. There's no judgment here at all.
With the sprinkles on top.
Yeah. And I must add, very big kudos to my brother here who came up with the perfect glass for the buffalo milk.
It is. You know
This
what that
guy right
looks
here.
like?
I mean, look at that.
Shell gas station used to give those away in the late 60s, early 70s when you filled up a tank of gas with Shell and you could get the whole set. Is that where, tell me that's not where those came from. I've never seen glasses like that since then.
They're from a French designer.
No, not Shell. These are from a French designer, apparently.
Okay, see? And
Yeah.
here I was
Not the guy
thinking
from
gas
Shell.
station glasses. Boy, did I put my foot in my mouth there. Oh,
No, that's funny. You know, I remember, do you remember Union 76? Union 76 came up with a little ball that you could put on your antenna, the antenna ball. And I thought that was the coolest thing. But by the time I was driving, they didn't have those antenna balls anymore. So I was kind of sad about that.
Yeah.
Now, okay, look, this is the final step to our buffalo milk process is the garnish with banana.
okay, hold it up so that everyone out there in TV land can see it.
Look at that.
Oh my God! Now that's
That's
okay.
probably a little bit on the Kahlua, but I
The
think
Kahlua.
this is very small compared to the big area there. But
But you can tailor it to meet your own requirements.
yes.
Beautiful.
All right, here let's do this. See,
If
we
you,
have
if you went to the bar at Two Harbors, you would see just maybe a quarter of an inch of Kahlua in the bottom. But I'm not judging.
okay. Cheers.
Cheers.
What a
Salud.
great episode of HypnoTalk.
And you may be asking yourself, what does any of this have to do with improving your life, right?
Perfect.
Yeah.
9.7.
Having fun.
I say 9.7 as well. Yes. And Janna, we talked about this. We talked about having an episode where we were just going to, as I like to use the video game term, free play it, right? Where we're just going to hang out, have a cocktail because it's 5 o'clock somewhere. 5 o'clock on the West Coast, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? And just talk about whatever and invite people to come up on stage if they have any questions. I see 3 people are watching. However, nobody's asked to come up on stage. Don't be shy. We don't bite. And if we do bite, we're virtual. So
there won't be blood or stitches needed.
true. No stitches, no visits to the ER. It's all good. Oh, Janna, I did forget the whipped cream. See, we're not very much
Yeah. Well, we can
kinda
see
guy.
what we leave out. We
I'll
can
put
see
like a
which priorities or
doppel
what.
like that. See, a doppel.
You
whipped
have to
cream.
put more whipped cream.
You want it go right? So like this would be what Janna would do. Right? and then I would do something like, look at this.
There's a sprinkling of nutmeg. You're gonna miss some of the experience.
And then I
if
would
you
do all
don't
of them.
sprinkle nutmeg on it. Oh my God!
Now I
It'll
kind of
take
look
you
like,
anywhere.
I look like what was that movie with Pacino?
Scarface.
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 But hey, this is whipped cream, not ground up plant product,
Yes.
right?
Right.
Oh my God, that's sweet. Yeah, look, that was for show effect, as they say, right? I do like whipped cream on my Chick-fil-A shakes, but not so much in my cocktails. I'm more of a classic kind of cocktail guy.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Like Manhattans and, classic dirty martinis, like James Bond.
Did I show you the box that all my ingredients for buffalo milks came in? Do you want to see this box?
Yeah.
So
Inquiring minds want to know.
as a thank you for being the escort boat, helping this friend of ours to paddle. He and his wife gave me, they came to swim workout with this pink box. Now, if you look at anything, everything in my life happens to be pink or turquoise, pretty much. And in this box was this fine bottle of creme de banana.
That looks beautiful.
This fine bottle of white creme de cacao. This lovely bottle of Kahlua.
That's a nice bottle of Kahlua.
And this is the funniest part. This
That's a
giant
big boy.
of
Wow.
vodka. And then she goes, I'm sorry the bottle of vodka is so big. At which point I looked at her and I'm like, who apologizes for something like that?
Said by no one ever.
Yes. And I said, I'll find a way to make it work.
True.
So
that.
you see, it was my duty as a friend. We all have our excuses. It was my duty as a friend. If the universe didn't want me to drink buffalo milk,
Yes.
it would not have dropped a lovely pink box in my trunk.
Yes, I agree. And like with any chat, right?
Yes,
Got to be comfortable. So are you comfortable?
pretty much.
Me too. This, let's get the decor in the background because he's got some good stuff.
Oh, look at the birds. Hey,
So-
I have a bird, look, right up there in the corner of my frame.
Yeah, that is the logo of all logos.
They're all flying that way. Your birds are flying that way, and my bird is flying that way.
That's cool.
My bird is winning. He's in front.
He's in front. And look, this is what, hey, free play, as I like to say, or free chat is all about. Just what's on your mind. What are we talking about? And we covered some stuff around like attachments and all of that, right? We could talk about that all day long.
You know what I want to talk about? I want to talk about expectations. And expectations are terrible things, whether they're positive or negative, because they're attached. And I know I've heard some feedback from a couple of people that go, I don't understand what you mean. And please type in, call in, ask me to clarify. Sometimes I forget that not everybody is not used to these concepts, but if I want to get to attachment to the idea of alcoholism, but I don't want to start with that. Okay. So Troy, will you remind me to get back to attachment to alcoholism? Okay. I'll talk about it with money. If I'm attached to the concept that my source of income is either going to come from X or Y, maybe I have 2 jobs. If one of those jobs goes away, my expectation is dashed. Now, it doesn't mean don't want something. So when I say, but you can put out there this desire for abundance, but an expectation is narrow. It tells the universe, or you could say God or fate or whatever, that you logically are responsible, either yourself or God or the universe, somebody is logically responsible for making sure that situation works that way. And since we cannot control every detail of everything,
That would be way
always
too
gonna be
tiring
stress.
anyway, Janna.
You can't not have worry when you have an expectation. If you expect to live happily ever after with your partner, what the hell are you going to do when they dump you or they die?
And that never happens in Disney movies.
No. So we
Did the
to
Snow
have an
White
ex-
if they
so
ended it
if
in the
they
middle.
dump you and you had an expectation that they would live forever, or if they would be with you forever, you're going to be very, very sad. If it's not, and I take that back. If you lose somebody to anything, you're going to be sad. But being sad without an expectation is, in a strange way, a beautiful thing. It's filled with love and grace, and the tears are open and fresh and vulnerable. And you'll be able to have that good cry. There's a heartbroken feeling, but the heart is filled with love and gratitude for what's been lost. With expectation, it's resentment, it's anger, it's self-punishment. Why didn't I do it better? How come I didn't make sure that worked out for me? Do you kind of hear the difference? So the expectation is the problem.
And expectation, not only is it stressful when you're supposed to be present in whatever it is, job, relationship, life, if it doesn't turn out the way that you expect it, that gets even worse for you in terms of stress.
Yeah.
Or the person. So back to expectations and alcoholism. Now, let's talk through this real quick. I know that some people out there would say, well, alcoholism could be a mental addiction kind of thing. And when we say that people can choose, I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
I believe in addictive personality, but there's always that choice.
I got one of those.
Choose to how you spend your money. You can choose, yes. There's the extra donut that's laying on the table. Are you going to scarf that donut down? That's a choice. Mm-hmm. So I do want to clarify that when we do talk about alcoholism or maybe an addictive eating disorder or something like that, that I believe, and I like to always put responsibility and set the bar high for people, because I believe in the power of people, and I believe that people can overcome whatever it is. Yeah. So go ahead and finish your thought on
the when I look at my alcoholic family, and I have concerns about myself, I notice that there's some obsessive compulsive tendencies, there's addictive personality, stuff like that. And in our lives, we encounter a lot of different people. And when you see other people who don't have a quote unquote problem with it, and you look at how it is for you or your people or your tribe, and there is a problem with it, you can go, oh, there is something there. I'm not saying there's nothing there, and I'm not advocating this for everybody. Out of the tremendous number of people that I have worked with over the last few years, there's only been one that I would say had an issue to the point where we needed to be cold turkey and have a very daily support group. That being said, and also if someone's been drinking regularly for a lot of years and their body's developed a physical tolerance, then I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about you and me and being afraid of what might happen. It's very easy for me to enjoy alcohol. As you can see, I'm like, oh, buffalo.
And sweets, alcohol and sweets.
Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
with that, I enjoyed the company of the people I was with in Catalina, and I'm enjoying your company now. And it's easier for me to enjoy people's company when I've had a drink. But I know as a hypnotherapist that it's also possible for me to be relaxed socially without the drink. I may not be there yet, but I know that I make a commitment that I'm not using this in order to feel good. Because
Yeah,
all
you're
this
not
is
using
doing
it
is
also.
it's blurring my ability to worry and obsess, and it's lowering my inhibitory process, which hypnosis also does, which feels really good, because then you can just say shit and not care, right? And doesn't that feel nice? So there's a creative self-expression. But if I
Through
rely
that.
on the substance to have the creative self-expression, I can start to then have an expectation that I can't feel a certain way without the substance. That's now I'm getting into my belief system and an expectation that alcohol makes me feel good and no alcohol makes me feel bad.
Or
me
with
personally,
alcohol, I'm exciting. Without alcohol, I'm boring. I've heard that story that
yeah,
people have said, and that's a story.
sure, it's a story because it's the same you. And if your inhibitions are lowered by alcohol chemically, you very well may be more exciting drunk. However, that being said, knowing that when your inhibitions are down, you're able to express yourself and your full personality comes forward, we can get committed to doing that without the need for.
This.
And then we can absolutely enjoy the yummy, delicious wonderfulness of our buffalo milk. Excuse me while I take a sip.
Yum, yum.
Oh my God, that is,
I love your reaction to buffalo.
oh.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Well,
That's good.
apparently it impressed everyone in Catalina that day because I walked home with an entire pink box full of booze.
And that's a really cool looking pink box.
Isn't it though?
Gotta say, yeah, for sure. It's
Yeah.
styling, man.
Told her,
Styling.
just being invited to sit. This was not a problem. We cleared our schedule for the weekend. We sailed out. It was a beautiful sail. We hung out with them. We read books on the boat. We paddled around. We did our thing. We sailed back. No thanks necessary. And they paid for our mooring. They invited us over to their boat for barbecue the first night, and then they took us to dinner the second night. And I thought, why in the world are they thanking me with a gift afterwards? But then and everything in my life I take in as an opportunity to notice, am I a good receiver?
Yes.
And
I receive.
So I decided that I would be a good receiver, because it's fun for people to give to someone who's a great receiver. You give them a pink box of buffalo milk ingredients and they're like, oh my God, thank you so much. And they start crying, right?
Yeah.
Now that's a sign of two things. One, a good receiver. Two, an alcoholic, but we'll set that aside.
I love that good receiver thing, because that is the best. Is if I acknowledge someone and they're like jazzed and they love the acknowledgement, then it's like a feel good thing. Not just feel good for them, feel good for the person acknowledging too. Not that people do it like that, but hey, as they say in the work, what's the payoff? Everybody does something for a payoff. So,
well, being a good receiver too, it's like fun to give to somebody. That's why, like, our gift list for holidays and stuff, don't you find that some people it's easy to shop for them and other people's not so much?
Speak more into that. That's a interesting one. The
It's
person
like
who has everything.
Yeah, some people are you're not sure what they're gonna like. You worry more about, are they gonna like it? But then there's some people that they're just so excited on life in general, that you could give them anything and they'd just be thrilled, like a little kid. So being a good receiver puts a lot of ease to the giver. It allows the giver to give. And when the giver gives, that's when they feel the self-esteem and good about themselves. I used to know people where you'd give them a gift and their facial expression wouldn't change. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking Janna was probably a shitty gift, or Janna,
you know what, Janna?
Sense of humor. It was probably an inappropriate gift or something to that effect.
I'll bet you, and see, this is where you and I align to this kind of stuff. There is no such thing as a shitty gift, because it's not about what it is. It's about the gift, the act of giving. Like, I've never received a shitty gift in my life. I love all my gifts. Well, I'm a hoarder too, but there's that. I get that from my mom. Joe, are you a hoarder too? Yeah, we get that from our mom.
I don't get that. I'm looking at a blank white wall and a very clean environment. I'm not getting hoarder energy at all over there.
Sorry. So, but to your point, I have given people gifts before and they don't like the gift. And it's not big enough. It's not, I don't know. There was always a thing. And well, now I have jettisoned those people out of my life. Boom.
Yeah. And so, and I've had that big time too, where I felt so sad, especially if it was something I made. Like I'm thinking of a situation where I painted a painting and gave it to the person, and they got rid of it. Like things like that. I felt like, and then I felt, of course, I turned that in, going, why did I do that? Why did I give him a painting? I shouldn't have done that. And then I stopped painting. Or like a relative of mine, I won't name her name because that would be uncool, but an amazing artist. I'm picturing her paintings in my mind when I have my eyes closed, because I can still see them to this day. And she hasn't painted for decades and decades and decades. And someone came over to their house and told her, wow, your house is beautiful, your stuff is beautiful, but I don't know about that artist. And of course the paintings were hers. That person that said that didn't realize, or of course they wouldn't have said, but she stopped painting, you guys. She stopped painting. And okay, in my never to be humble opinion, the paintings were outstanding. But even if they weren't, even if it had been somebody else's paintings, let's just say that it was somebody else's paintings. Imagine you're 5 and you're in kindergarten and you paint a picture and you're all proud and you take it home for your mother and you're toddling home from school and you go, I painted you a picture for the refrigerator, and you hand it over and mom looks at it and she's like, oh, not my color scheme, and doesn't put it on the refrigerator.
Badmom.com.
The kid will start to go, I'm not a good artist. Does it have anything to do with the art?
No. And then 25 years later, that kid's going to see you for hypnotherapy and me for leadership coaching.
And everything they do is brilliant, but they've got a list of evidence for what's wrong with it.
And that brings us to, with anything, if it's okay with me, that's all that matters. Because as Zach so
It's about the
He said, I am the boss of me.
But it's not about even judging, is it good enough for me to put out there? It's about the self-expression. The purpose is the expression. So Michael Singer had it right with stay open. Stay open. Just stay open. When you're a child and you're shut down like that, you're not going to go, oh, I'm a self-actualized 5-year-old, so I'm going to stay open. And I get that mom has issues and it has nothing to do with me. I'm just going to keep painting my little heart out. 5-year-olds don't do that.
No.
But, and none of us did that. We were all shut down in whatever way that we were. Everybody. And if you're a parent or a new parent, you're going to fuck it up. Heave a sigh of relief and allow yourself to screw it up. Please. Please. We're not in control of what other people interpret. We're not in control of, we could be have the most nurturing intentions for our children in the world. We don't get to control how they hear that, how they see that, how they internalize that. So whatever it is, let yourself just do your thing and stay open. And when there's negative feedback, you can hear it, listen to it. If there's value for you, you can take that in. But we, as adults, once we're up to that inhibitory process of mind closing, we don't have to register that upset or that rejection or that humiliation. We don't have to register that. If we don't intervene and go, oh, I'm not going to register that, it may just go in, because that's the pattern of 0 to 8 years old. So, but so every time we hear that similar criticism of our creativity, for example, it may trigger us, but it's not the trigger's responsibility. It's our responsibility to say, I'm not going to register that. Now, I'm gonna put out there that here I go again, and there may be a couple of people out there who are like, what the hell are you talking about? Please ask me, and I'm bringing in other ideas that each idea could be a full show on itself. So it's not your fault if you don't understand what I'm saying. We just need to you need to say, well, what about this, or what about in this situation, or how do I cope with that situation? No.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. It's going to be like, 3 shows with, half dozen buffalo milks.
This buffalo milk
what lands for me, I love movies and I love examples. So I give the example of George McFly, Back to the Future. Do you want to be George McFly before he laid Biff out? That George McFly took everything, like, obviously his parents are kind of screwed up and they must have done something that stifled his creativity. He was a science fiction writer, remember?
Yes.
Marty says, get out of town. I didn't know you wrote. And he goes, well, let me read it. And he goes, I don't let anyone read it. And Marty said, why? And he goes, what if somebody doesn't like it? I don't know if I can, get through the rejection. That's a human being trait.
That's an expectation. He expected that if he put something out there that somebody wouldn't like it.
And even if they didn't, so what? Now,
he expected to be disappointed and upset if they didn't like it.
Yeah. So instead, what happened? He lays Biff out. He gets confidence. And he ends up at the end of movie number 1. Spoiler alert, but who hasn't seen Back to the Future yet?
Like 0 people.
So that being said, he wrote a book. His novel came out. He went forward. So what you're saying is, even George McFly, who has this conversation in his head, could, by choice,
think of all the science fiction ideas he has that he's shut down. And my daughter, I wish she was home. I'd bring her on the show. She was just saying all that energy goes somewhere. And when it can't get expressed, it can go into your physical body, or it can transform into something dark and negative and depressing and sad, or inhibited or stuck. So it needs to be expressed. So just a commitment, a decision, I would just invite people to consider staying open. Trying to work out what you're going to do when they reject you never works. Think less, stay open more, put yourself out there. Allow things to be as they are. They either work out or they don't. And when they don't work out, it's a great opportunity to practice staying open. And when we stay open, even when things don't work out, then we can release the emotion of it in a very beautiful way. Sadness doesn't have to be frightening and tragic and lonely. Sadness can be full of grace and full of love and full of respect and gratitude. And it can be very, very intense. But if we don't appreciate and allow ourselves to experience it because we don't like it, then we're going to have to drink buffalo milk in order to numb down, rather than drink buffalo milk because it's so darn good.
And it's fun sharing a buffalo milk over our show that we haven't done this in a few weeks, 4th of July, Father's Day, all sorts of things going on. But you know what? I love doing these shows. And I can't even think it's fun. Look,
I shouldn't have dumped all these bananas in here.
I got a bunch of.
They don't go up the straw.
And here in Palm Springs, it's 116 degrees. So this really hits the spot.
Oh my God.
116, right? Yeah. Yeah. It's hot. But you know what? I love the heat. And I love the heat and humidity. When I was living in the DC area, I loved humidity, and people thought I was crazy. But I wasn't crazy. It's fun.
Yeah. My hair does better in humidity, where everybody else's hair does better when it's dry.
Oh, so what happens to your hair?
It curls. It's naturally curly, but it's so fine that it just is frizzy when it's dry, which is the opposite. Most people, their hair frizzes in the humidity, But when the humidity frizzes my hair, it actually just puts the natural curl back in it.
Oh, cool.
And when I go where it's dry, it's like straight, but it's straight and frizzy. It's weird.
Huh. Okay. So that's good to know.
Yeah.
We would never be talking about this.
I know.
On not a free play type show. Unstructured free play.
Well, the buffalo reminded me, and the elephant on the cup. If I love this buffalo milk thing so much, I mean, can I be okay with the calories in this glass? And you've seen me, I've had a breakthrough. Anyone who knows me, I keep adding more whipped cream.
I have a whole big glass full of whipped cream that I actually took out of my drink.
But I found out that if I accept this was where I had this huge breakthrough the other day, and I never talk about how fucked up my body image issues are, because I always thought if all my clients knew what ridiculous body image issues I have, they wouldn't come. Like, who wants to take advice from that person? She's But I had a breakthrough about that.
You are self-aware. That's one thing. It's another thing is if it was actually controlling you. And that's not the case. Yeah. Or my experience of you.
Well, I've become more self-aware. It dawned on me the other day Now, okay, this is wisdom. You guys need to sit down and strap your seatbelts on for this. I realized, drum roll, please.
Tap, 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 tap. Da, 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 da.
Thank you. Okay, I realized as I looked in the mirror that I have the body style I have.
That you what? You.
That I have. I have the big epiphany
Mhm.
that we've all been waiting for is that Janna has the body style she has. And
Yeah.
I realized that for 60 years, well, maybe not from before I could stand, I looked in the mirror and expected to have a different body style. Expectation again. This is where we're going with expectations are terrible.
Yeah.
I have the body style I have. And it doesn't matter if other people tell me they like my body style. It doesn't matter if other people tell me that my weight is okay. I hear it. I mentally understand it, but I don't get it. In other words, I don't feel it. I was looking in the mirror and expecting something different, like, and I can almost have another body style if I'm at the height of my eating disorder. So let's cut back to 1979, 80, when I weighed about 30 plus pounds less than I do now. My arms looked really good, you guys. And so did my stomach. And when I would look at myself in the mirror from behind, there was no back fat. So my head registered, I can have that. But I can only really have that if I keep my weight very, very low. And there are many people out in the world who have long, willowy arms, narrow shoulders, and no bra strap bulge, and flat stomachs. But they have a different body style than I have. And an expectation that when I look in the mirror, I'm going to have a different body style. And if I don't, then I've got some work to do. That has run me for a long ass time. It's probably been responsible for why I've stayed in some pretty decent shape, and I'm not tremendously huge or anything. Like I've always been, to the external world, I look like I'm in control of my physical body, but I'm not. I haven't been. I've been expecting something else, so there's never been any appreciation. And when I realized it, I had to come to terms with it. Now, the day I realized it, it was so relieving to suddenly notice I have the body style I have. And I made a commitment that no matter how I feel about it, I'm going to stop expecting it to be some other body style. Now, right away, I didn't know if I liked my body or didn't. I hadn't gotten to liking it yet. I didn't know. I was in the question, which is even more powerful, you know? So over the last several days, when I look in the mirror, I think, that's my body style. Now the jury's still out on my, but a couple of things started to happen. One thing happened, and the next day I swam way faster. There was other things in my life started to change as a result of accepting my body style.
Okay.
It was strange correlations, and now because again, the old mind panics a little bit. If you accept your body style, you're going to get fat. You have to keep a leash on your neck. You can't eat that. But I'm over it. And it's taken a long time. And this body image stuff, it didn't hit me. It's been improving over the decades, but there's a lot of layers to it.
Deep.
Girls will understand. Troy's sitting there going, can we stop talking about bra strap bulge, please? I don't know if I can handle it. How many more buffalo milks am I going to have to drink to get through another 5 minutes of you, Janna?
It's okay. It's okay. I enjoy your company. See, you could talk about the phone book. You could read the phone book, and I'll be engaged in what you're saying.
Now you sound like Kappas. Dr. John Kappas.
Who's that?
He founded HMI College of Hypnotherapy, and he is the modern day considered the master of, he's like the Sigmund Freud of hypnotherapy.
And you know, I still want, and we've talked about this, I still want to secretly be able to hypnotize people on the poker table. Come on, let's go. How do I do that? Do I like click? Do I like make them hazy and you're getting foggy? Do I just sway like this at the table? Like,
is this why we're friends? Is this it? You think that I can hypnotize your poker adversaries?
Yes.
Oh.
You could sit behind me and you could have the watch going like this, right? I can move the cards back and forth. You will fold, you will fold, you will fold your hand now. I don't know. I make up.
You make up a lot of shit.
I make up a lot of shit. I make up, if I'm able to hypnotize people on the poker table, I would be a better poker player. I make that. That's all made up.
You know what HMI College of Hypnotherapy would do with people like you, right?
It would
they
be like
read you, because people will actually
send me to
join the program.
Azkaban.
People come to join their program, and they weed those people out.
I did weed it out.
There's a certain segment of the population that's after power and control.
I am, but
and
only
they
on the
weed
poker
those
table.
people out in the first month. That's why you're on. When you go to that school, you're on probation for the first month.
Yeah, I would be toasted.
They don't tell you why, but they will not. People are on probation, and you're not formally accepted into the program until after the first month, because
you're wielding the power for
your
evil.
Motives
like
are about power and control. You're out of
You
there.
have a question?
So of
I want
course
Joe
they
to
don't
ask a
teach
question.
that. They have not teach how to do mind control tactics on others.
Damn it. Okay. All right.
I know.
So the other thing
Not
is
in my skill set.
transmutation. I was talking with my friend Angelica about this. Hi, Angelica. I know you're out there. Transmutation. You know, when you take a metal and you can like morph it into another metal.
Like alchemy.
Bingo. Well, you could apparently do that with your mind, right? Like in the 1900s, like all those creepy guys on the vaudevillian shows, they would like, if you ever watched The Illusionist with Ed Norton, brilliant movie. So
I gotta go see that.
That being said, that's the other thing, is how do I transmute my mind into other people's? So anyway, Angelica said,
okay, you need to have a pointy head like this and just a few hairs combing back. And we need you to have a little pair of red overalls.
I love that, a pointy head. I could look like an alien.
I was thinking of Stewie.
Oh, Stewie. Yeah, you know, in this season of Fortnite, now Zach is going to be horrified that I'm talking about Fortnite. But they're aliens in Fortnite, and it's super cool. Because, you know, I love aliens.
You do.
I love the concept of them. I believe in them. They're zany. I mean, look, of course, They're flying around in spaceships that don't look like the Star Wars spaceships. They're saucers. That's pretty zany. Like, why would you fly around in a saucer? That's just super cool. See? This is the kind of free play talk
Yeah.
that could happen if you drink buffalo milks.
And with the amount of buffalo milk that I've had, given that I haven't had a proper drink in a month, and one is enough to put me under the table.
You look like you're doing well. You're vertical, not horizontal.
Yeah, I've got this kitchen counter here, though, that's pretty sturdy. I'm holding
That
myself
would be
up.
funny as if like we pan the camera and you're actually being propped up by wood. You know, like those Hollywood sets that you see, it's all like wood. And you know, speaking of Hollywood, we were talking about this yesterday. Yesterday, I think, was almost a prequel to today. And I even said, wow, this is really cool conversation. But remember, I was talking about Hollywood, and I was talking about my new favorite binge show that I'm watching, right? Just Called Saul.
Better Call Saul.
I always get that
Whatever.
wrong. I always get that wrong. All I know is it's about
Correct all
Saul.
the- yeah, that's
Just
what
Call
I did.
Saul. Saul's there. Talk to Saul. You know, but
Yeah.
I love his name. I
Yeah.
love his name. Saul Goodman. Saul
Goodman.
Good, man. Love it.
Yeah.
And when I first started watching the show, I was like, what year is this? It's like really weird, right? Because it looks like 80s, the 90s. It's like just weird how it's done. But then I started to do, you know, Google knows everything. So I started to research. 2002, 4 years before Breaking Bad, which was 2006, apparently. Who knew? And I love all the characters on that show too.
Yeah, I love them. It's by far my favorite thing.
And Kim Wexler, if you're watching, I'm a big fan.
Okay, okay, we could go down the Kim Wexler road. You do realize that that's not her actual name; that's her character name.
Yeah, I know. And I did stalk her too, so I actually know her real name. But I love her name. Both of her names are great.
I
like
forget her
real name
actual
is great,
name.
and Kim Wexler is a great name.
Yeah, she's an amazing character, and she balances him so perfectly.
Yes.
So perfectly.
There's sometimes I just want to shake him. It's like, dude, right? He's such a lovable loser, I guess you could say, but he's not a loser. He has a big heart.
Yeah.
And his brother, oh my God. I just wanted, like, that guy made me so mad. And Saul kept trusting him. Or I guess Slippin' Jimmy kept trusting him over and over. And I'm like, no, he's going to set you up. And he did.
You know, we could do like Monday morning quarterbacking of that show.
That would be awesome.
I love that Jimmy trusted him, because the love that Jimmy felt for him was genuine.
Yeah.
The childhood they shared together was genuine. The best part of Jimmy loved his brother. And if you haven't seen it, you should mute us right now. But I don't want to give away too much.
Spoiler alert, right?
What Chuck did. For one thing, it's so beautifully layered, because you saw that Chuck was out of his fucking mind. He had sensitivity to stuff, and I'm not saying that's not an actual thing, because there's even that, there's two sides to that. But Chuck had issues. So he was wonderful and brilliant and successful, and he was cold and mean, and you didn't really know which way he was going to go. But there's no shame in staying open and loving people.
Yeah, and Jimmy kept going back.
Yeah.
You
and so but you want to be able to do that. It's not like, oh, I'm not going to trust that. And I think life should not be about avoidance. like avoiding the possibility of getting hurt. You can make the best decision that you can make.
Yeah.
And from Jimmy's perspective, he felt that he wanted to give Chuck the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
And he did.
Yeah.
And he got burned.
And that, what you're just saying, there's a lot to be said to that. It's the same concept of, you know, people who have a bad relationship and then they're like, I'm never going to be in a relationship again. Well, yeah.
Or they'll say, I should have seen it coming, or I never should have trusted that person.
Shoulda, coulda,
no, the courageous part, trusted.
Yeah.
It's cowardly to avoid. I'm
Yeah.
not going to have a relationship so I don't get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a lot of courage to fall flat on your face.
Yeah. And guess, you know what? I'm so happy that my brother is super cool and he's not a dick.
Yeah, right?
I'm so glad he's not Chuck. Joe.
Well, no, I mean, the jury's not out. You never know.
True that.
Some
True
word could
that.
go on. You could go, you could slip something
But guess
in
what?
Buffalo milk and we'd never know.
I make up that even if he was a big dick, we would still get along. No, so Janna, that is an amazing idea, actually. I love that idea that we do take a certain show or an episode or something, and we should do something like a Monday morning quarterback kind of thing. I've seen people try to do it before, but kind of lukewarm. Yeah. You know, I actually had this idea with a certain somebody that you and I both know. And it would have been really phenomenal. Now, he was on board with it, but I had a crappy computer. I make up stories.
Yeah.
That it never happened. But I think this is something that would be interesting, not just with, like, okay, that show, great. There are episodes in a lot of different shows that show this whole concept of, you want to talk about attachment. We could talk about, so here's a really, really interesting idea, right? Big Brother, big here in LA, it's premiered. One of the first reality shows, right? They're on like season 25 or something. That is a sociology experiment. Like, it's crazy how people act, how they react. You're literally in a box, right? For 3 months. That's something to even think about too.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, I'm down. I got to start binge watching like right away.
So wait, you've watched Breaking Bad? Have you watched all?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Because there are some episodes in Breaking Bad that we could totally talk about, right? That one episode where Walter flips from he's doing it for his family to I'm doing it for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Still uses the story, I'm doing it for my family.
Mm-hmm.
And then he finally blows up and told his wife that I did it for me.
Yeah.
It made me feel good.
That was powerful.
Super powerful. And talk about another amazing actor. I love that Walter White.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of Walter White's, and I know that's not his real name. But I was a big fan of Walter White when he was on Malcolm in the Middle.
Oh, I was just going to say that. I was going, what was the name of that show?
Like, that guy was so funny.
He was great. Malcolm in the Middle, and the wife. She was such a nag.
Yeah,
and
right.
I actually borrowed some of her punishment techniques and used them on my own children.
Oh, okay. Was that was the show where they would do the little hand signal, right? And if you get the person to look, you get to punch them. Was that?
I don't even remember that. The boys would do that.
Yeah, that was the one where the kid, right? That one kid, how he talked.
Oh yeah.
Like that, right? Yeah, I think it was Malcolm in the Middle. And then the big kid, the bully kid. I think he's on every bully show. Like he was like the guy on what's that other show that was set in the 60s? Wonder Years. He was like that kid. Like there's always that kid, that bully big brother kid. Mm-hmm. In the Wonder Years, Malcolm in the Middle. Name the movie. Yeah.
Malcolm in the Middle was great.
But you have a brilliant idea as always, Janna. Brilliant idea. I love the Monday morning quarterback show. That's great. And how shows and movies fit into this type of transformative work. And that's what you do. That's what you do.
Yeah.
And there are transformative movies, of course, right? Like, I could say obviously like something like the Secret Life of Walter Mitty, that was all transformation. But then one could even say like Field of Dreams, my favorite movie of all time. There's a lot of transformative parts in there, right? He does all of this because he just wants to have a catch with his dad, or it's that boils down to that whole thing.
There's the real overt ones, like around Christmas, It's a Wonderful Life. That's really impactful for a lot of people. But then there's the ones that you don't consider even in transformation at all, like the I want to say it's 1986 or 85 movie Moonstruck with Cher and Nicolas Cage, where there's a scene where Cher is out, she's on the cusp of, do I do what I know logically, my logical mind says is the right thing to do, which is go this path, or do I just let my heart take over? And that scene outside that apartment building, it was cold, he walked her home, and he gives her a speech. And you got to see Moonstruck. That actually saved my life, and I won't even go into the details of it. But it was one scene in one movie that helped me know what my priorities are and what I wanted, what I stood for. And it had absolutely nothing to do with logic, reason, analysis, or any of it.
I'm going to have to rebrush up on that movie. I think the last time I saw it was like in the 90s. But this is, you just gave us like the biggest teaser ever. We can literally launch our Monday morning movie marathon. Wow, did you see all the M's? Yeah. Monday morning movie marathon, transformative mischief. I don't know.
Okay, so I need to get more seasonally responsible though. So for this time of year, The Sandlot.
Ooh, I love that movie. Even
it's transformational, not in terms of the plot, but it's, if you start to try to go, why do I love that movie? It's that.
Yeah.
It's that way. It's a way of being. It's a way of life.
And that is human being, because get this, I don't know anybody who has said, okay, I used the Chris Voss. Oh, I know that, all the double negatives. I have met many, many people that when they recite their childhood, however it is, certain areas are fantastical. Other areas are, like, oh my God, coming back to my childhood home. I thought that driveway went on for miles. Mm-hmm. It's like Sandlot with the big dog, how they personify this dog, like the monster, right? Like, yes, it is so like real life.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's that, right? I mentioned Field of Dreams, right? You want to keep going like baseball, right? Mm-hmm. Bull Durham. It's a great story about minor league baseball again, but the whole point of that is it's like people maturing, right? It's like Crash Davis moving on to the next cycle of his life. It's like the Susan Sarandon character moving on to the next chapter of her life. Nuke LaLoosh, the baseball pitcher, right? Going from this knucklehead to a Major League Baseball player. So awesome. And that line has like, it's so good. It's such a good movie. But yeah, it's things like that. And I'm sure you've seen movies that I haven't that, you know, this would be like, wow.
Yeah,
I
don't retain a lot of movies unless it's something I've watched multiple times. And it has nothing to do with my enjoyment level. I will absolutely think this is the best movie I've ever seen, and after a week, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of it doesn't make it to my long-term memory. I'm too some of it is the way and hypnosis is like that. So not everybody remembers it. You can be in a very open, suggestible state and have an incredibly powerful, impactful, enjoyable experience. And some brains don't log that into long-term memory. Just like we don't all remember our dreams long-term. Some do, some don't.
Man, I wish I did. I would love to remember every single dream because it's so cool. But okay, here's where I want you. Okay, can you do this for me, Janna? Some magical hypnotic thing that I can turn on in my dream to know I'm dreaming. Can that be done?
Yeah, I could hypnotize that in.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
Done.
Yeah.
Because I always, the most that I could control a dream or even remember my dream would be in the morning when I wake up and the construction guys are like doing stuff. I'm like, those guys. And then I'm so tired that I go back to sleep. And then I'm like, oh, well, now I'm back at junior high. Obviously, that's not real. So I think I'm dreaming. Do anything. Like, I would love to just be like, wow, I'm in junior high. Now I'm dreaming. There's a gas canister over there. Shenanigans. And like, you know.
I had a shrink tell me once when I was a little kid. And everyone's like, Johnny, you went to a shrink when you were a little kid? Well, not little. I was probably 16, 17. And I was going through a big relationship angst moment, big surprise. And so my mother, who had this wonderful woman that she saw, said, would you like me to set you up with an appointment? And I would see this therapist like once every 5 or 8 years, like it once or twice. But I'm sitting there with her, and somehow we got on the topic of this recurring dream that I had over and over and over and over and over and over. And it was so terrifying. It was the worst nightmare.
Oh, I hate those.
I was being chased by a horrible monster. And she said, okay. She said, well, the next time you have that dream,
turn around.
I want you to turn around.
Why do they always say that? Nobody wants to do that.
Yeah.
I go to horror movies. I say, don't go in that barn. Don't go in there. Don't do it.
I want you to stop running and turn around and face that monster, because she was like, who is it? Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? And I go, I don't know who it is. Who do you think that monster represents? I don't fucking know. I'm just chased by a monster. So she goes, just turn around. I go, okay. So now, just with that, now I have some somnambulism, which means that I'm in a little bit of hypnosis all the time, which isn't always such a good thing, because you get scared easy. You know, somebody says, did you gain a few pounds? And you're like, oh my God, I'm fat. You know, it's like you're suggestible not only to the good stuff, but
got it.
Sports, so, you know, it's like, it goes in. It just goes in.
Right. Okay.
So the next night, I don't remember what night it was, if it was that very night or if it was a week later, but I'm having the dream. And I'm in the dream. And I'm like, oh, fuck, Marianne told me I'm supposed to turn around and look at the fucking monster. And then I thought, and I'm running. And I thought, well, that must mean I'm dreaming. And then I thought, well, but I don't know for sure. And I'm running up these stairs, and I'm thinking, what are the odds that monsters are real and that, you went to a therapist and she told you the next time you had this dream to like turn around. So you know that it's a dream. And I'm arguing with, and the me on the other shoulder is going, well, yeah, but if I'm wrong, I'm dead. It's sort of like,
Yeah,
if
it's
I
as
believe
real like
I'm
that.
winning and I
It's like
turn
being on
around,
an
I'm gonna
acid
get
trip.
eaten by a goddamn monster. And so it took a tremendous amount of courage to turn around. I turn around and the monster is just in shock that I have turned around. I'll never forget it. It was like, talk about a transformational moment. And he's just standing there. He didn't say anything. He was just like,
did he look like Sully?
What?
Did he look like Sully from Monsters Inc.?
No. And
Or was he
I
like
don't
a
want to say
snake guy?
this was back in like 1977 or 78.
What the monster look like? What was he like? Jaws?
I think he was large and green, but he wasn't human, but he was my dad.
Oh, wow.
And at the time I was
You
having
were having deep-
issues with my dad. And so, and I knew it was my dad. I knew that the monster was representing my dad. And so what I did when I saw it was my dad is I just went down 2 stairs and I threw my arms around him and I hugged him. And I just broke. It was so, I had this tremendous love, and I still do. I have this tremendous love for him. Now, Marianne didn't say, turn around and hug the monster. But I can't tell you the number of times that I've had a client come in with a recurring bad dream, and I hypnotize them to turn around and hug the monster. And it's funny how life is. My dad and I get along fabulously now, but most teenagers don't get along with their fathers when they're girls. My dad was under such a tremendous amount of stress. He had a lot on his plate. He had a lot to deal with. And so we had some real bumpy times. But that nightmare ended up being a tremendous blessing, not only to me, and of course I never had the dream again, but it was clear why I was having it. Every time there was Dad and I were butting heads, I would have this dream. And
Wow.
there was part of me that was kind of scared, and the fear was, making it like that.
Yeah.
Because,
Wow.
we're all scared of getting in trouble if we're stepping out and we're not home on time, or we're dating somebody they don't want us to date, or, so I was going through all that stuff, and I was pretty scared of the consequences.
Yeah. Wow.
So there was the monster, but thank goodness that he and I butted heads, or I wouldn't have that to help other people with, And I love that we didn't get along when I was a teenager. I love that because it helps me help other parents to know that they don't have to be perfect all the time. One camping trip with that man, one moment of one camping trip erases every argument or fight we ever had. Moments are so important.
Yeah, you're cool like that for real. That's like mad knowledge 301 right there that you just dropped. That if people came from that place, damn, imagine like the stories on this person and that person, my dad sucks, and all this energy that's just wasted in people's lives.
And don't get me wrong, I've had that. I've had it with my mom, and there's ways to this stuff gets stuck because maybe we feel guilty. Maybe, it didn't have any place to go. It didn't get expressed. There's ways to help release that, to stop, because the same mental ways we're trying to think our way out of this. Yeah. And there's ways out.
Yeah. Wow. Good times. Like this
Yeah.
is like really good stuff.
Well,
Joe, I'm having a great time
the
right now.
more buffalo milk we drink, and we have not heard from Joe. I know we probably don't.
I know I want to put Joe on the spot and have him ask a question, but you know, he's very busy working, and he has this really stylish shirt on, you know. So there's that.
Yeah.
But
I
anyway.
saw it was green, correct?
Yeah. And you know, Mr. Zach's favorite color is green. So, you know, he likes his Uncle Joe even more with, you know, the green shirt. It's just like green. Speaking of which, you know, we won't talk about details, but that guy's in Nairobi.
Okay, I gotta know. How did your child end up in Nairobi? You had enough and you just pointed at the door and said, off to Nairobi with you.
Go.
That's
and then he
not how
said,
it happened.
oh, my arms are going to get very, very tired. I said, go forth, young man, and prosper. And then he flew to Nairobi.
Is he on safari?
He's on safari. Isn't that cool?
That is so cool. He is going to love it.
Yes.
Good for him.
Yes. Because I think the extent to his animal like interactions have been dogs and cats and guinea pigs, basically. So, you know, this is going to be good. Lions, tigers. Well, what's the saying? Lions, tigers, bears, oh my. Or
lions and tigers and bears, oh my. Lions and tigers and bears, oh my. Yeah.
What was that from? Was that from Wizard of Oz?
My son Spencer went to Africa twice, and the second time he set it up that my youngest son George went with him, and for quite a while he wanted to maybe spend some time actually living there and working there, and I think that's temporarily off the table. But hey, Spen, no answer.
He's busy listening to Toto.
No, it's better than that. He said, hey, Spen, could you call me? We're talking about you in Africa.
Sure.
Everyone in the world now knows that you went to Africa twice. In case you're wondering. No.
That's awesome.
I could write a book, How to Embarrass Your Children.
Oh, trust me.
I'm doing it.
Like Zach, he would die if I came in with the camera and like.
Okay. That's the dog.
Oh, look at that guy.
Call me. Oh, wait, the ringtone's off.
Is that Africa? It don't rain down in Africa. Is that the Toto? Toto.
Hey, Spen?
Yeah.
Do it again.
Oh. Yes. I love that movie.
We were talking about his son is in Africa in Nairobi right now. Would you like to come in and say a few words on the Africa topic?
What context?
Any context, just walk around to my side.
It's buffalo milk.
It's buffalo milk drinking kickback. This is Troy.
Troy, how's it going?
What's up, my man? How you doing?
And
I'm doing well.
come on, sit here.
Good.
Up on the stool.
Good. I love all
I
of
know
our
it's
guests.
backwards.
This is
Like-
awesome. This is like, you know, it's like,
Here.
look, cheers. You know?
Scoot over.
So, I
How
love
was
that
the buffalo
movie.
milk. Did you make some for yourself?
Yes,
It's done. It's done.
It-
We got
it is-
another one.
it is done. Do we have any more buffalo milk there, Joe?
But tell him about your time in Africa, because his son
Where
is
did
in
you go,
Africa right
Spencer?
now.
I was in South Africa and Botswana. It was a pretty good time. You know, it's there's a little bit of just had a couple opportunities with school and my undergrad, and had to get Southern California is a bubble. You know, like at least for, you know, and I was like, ooh,
It is.
a totally different world. You know, so it's like
I love South Africa, man. South Africa is so nice.
Yeah, it is. I definitely up there with top experiences, and if I did any opportunity that I'd have to go back, I would definitely capitalize.
Well, you did go back. Then I said you went back the next year.
I
with
did.
George.
I did. George and I, we went and hung out in Botswana, right in the middle of nowhere, kind of. What's your son doing? Is he in? He's in Nairobi. So
Yeah, he's in Nairobi, and he's gonna definitely go on safari. They're on like this gigantically large animal reserve, so it's super cool. So
that's awesome.
I'm super excited for him. I've been to South Africa, but I heard like Kenya is just beautiful. So I'll get back there again. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Oh, for sure. Oh, we've got some more people who might want to jump on the. No.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Never mind.
No.
They're
I love
camera shy.
Party.
But yeah, going. It's interesting because the opportunities with school were kind of surrounding economics. Hello, how's it going?
This is my brother Joe.
Hi, Joe.
That's
I'm Spencer.
Janna's son Spencer.
Hey, Spencer, good to meet you.
Did you get some buffalo milk, Joe?
I'm feeling good right now. Yeah.
Feeling good. Yeah. Oh, I got it. Just finished doing a little schoolwork, so maybe I'll get on that same level.
There you go.
Some work
Sounds like a good way for the evening to go. Nice little Sunday, get nice and refreshed before the week starts.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. Hey, not only does buffalo milk taste good, it's got quite a little kick to it too. And look, I got a refill, a magical refill. Look at that. It's like the never-ending glass. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
Glass of infinity.
Am I in a dream? Is this a dream, Janna? Did you program that into my dream?
I
that
did.
Glass of
Mind control. That's what it's all about.
exactly.
Glass control too.
I'll let you guys get back on the
Okay.
hypno stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, good
Thanks,
seeing you, Spencer.
Yeah, good to see you. Nice to meet you, Joe. Have another one, Mama.
There you go. What a great episode this has been.
It has been.
And there were no expectations on this. There were no preconceived plans. None of that.
No. So yeah.
And a great idea came out of this too. Seriously, the movie thing. And again, I have a list of movies too. So we should compare some lists. Like I would love, and some are like really, I'm gonna say cheesy, but like Sleepless in Seattle. Okay. Really cheesy, but
I haven't seen it in a million years.
right.
And
But
I remember how
that's Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan.
yeah.
There's certain pieces in it that we could talk about that are pretty impactful.
Okay.
Right? Like he had given up on relationships, right? That's how the whole premise of the story. Or sorry, it wasn't. It was Tom.
You've got
Tom
mail and
Hanks.
sleep. See, I get them all confused.
It was Tom
They are-
Hanks, right?
Okay.
It was Tom Hanks, not Billy Crystal. It was Tom Hanks.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think. But yeah, I'm with you. I get them all confused.
They all
Yeah.
run together. I've got to watch it, and then
Yeah. But see, that could be fun. The
then
movie.
we can tear them all apart and point out who's codependent and why they did that and what they should have done instead and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Done. We'll have all should-haves, could-haves, would-haves.
Yeah.
You remember we did talk about the non-transformative talk show where remember we were going to give out advice. We were going to come from a place of remember we talked through this, right? It's that whole concept of if you take a test and you get every single question wrong on purpose, that means you've mastered the content. No different than if you took the test and got everything correct. Remember what we said we were going to do was highlight the aspects of the context of culture, humans, people, right? Rackets, by doing the opposite. So I would say something like, well, good thing this buffalo milk's going down like really good. I enjoy it. And, if I went out and drove, at least I can blame the buffalo milk that if I crash my car,
It's the buffalo milk.
all on the buffalo milk. So I already have a story that I can blame. And then I can be a victim because I'll hurt my back and then I'll miss work. And then, I can complain about that for a while.
Okay, you want me to piss off the whole viewing public?
Yeah, of
I
course.
drank too much because I'm an alcoholic and I have no power over alcohol.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Now, that's not to say that I think people shouldn't go to AA, because what it is it's a belief system. And if you believe that you have no power over alcohol and that God is going to help you not drink by going one day at a time, and that's a mechanism that works, and you believe in it 100%, it will work. And then you've satisfied your goal of not drinking. But there's another way to stop drinking, which is stop picking up a drink and putting it into your mouth.
Easy as
And when
that.
you feel the shitty feelings, oh, I can't. Well, no, you won't, because something else is more important. And the thing that's more important is getting rid of the terrible feeling inside or the compulsion. And I want that to be the domain of where we look at that as the issue. This poor little buffalo milk didn't hurt anybody. It's just sitting in our glass saying, drink me, drink me.
And guess what? This did not just fly into my mouth and down my throat.
Right.
I picked it up. Look, I get that. And I got into mad debates with people like on Facebook when it comes to responsibility, especially when it came to all the COVID stuff too.
Yeah.
Right? I said simply, hey man, if you don't want to wear a mask, don't wear a mask. You get sick, that's on you, bro. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to wear a mask. I'm going to be paranoid about my hands and all that because I don't want to get it. Now, if you're not going to wear a mask, well, that's on you. Do I create laws around that? Like, I'm a libertarian, so I'm not about laws. I'm about people's responsibility. Take responsibility. No different with a gun. The gun doesn't magically kill people. People kill. I love that this guy had a shirt, and it said, "Guns don't kill people. People with mustaches kill people." Got it?
That's true.
So that being said,
my
look,
grandparents,
I understand gun control.
Grew up
run around
Prohibition. And
now we're talking.
Yes. So when I look like my grandparents, when they were little, so one was born in 1913, and the other in 18, and Prohibition really had been an ongoing thing, on and off, for a long, long time before that, but it really stuck. And alcohol consumption was a very normal. A lot of alcohol was a normal thing, and there was a lot of domestic violence going on. A lot of people weren't holding down their jobs. Or at the time, that the alcohol tax consisted of 75% of the national income, because it was in the days before income taxes. So the alcohol tax was how the government made money.
Yep.
And people celebrated when they were happy. They celebrated when they were sad. They drank every day.
Yep.
They did a study that the average American drank, when they talked about how many gallons of whiskey a year, it was just a ridiculous number. There were so many more heavier drinkers before Prohibition. And then so they decided, well, we'll just get rid of alcohol. No more buffalo milks for you people. You people are out of control.
Yep.
If it wasn't for the alcohol, my husband would still have his job. Would be beating me.
Right.
And so on.
Mm-hmm.
And so it seems like a good idea. And it's one solution. And they tried it, and of course it didn't work at all. It just opened up a tremendous amount of problems. And people
it actually
drank
created
anyway.
organized crime. You know that, right?
Yeah, it started
Created
all
things,
of that.
some bad things like organized
All
crime,
kinds
but
of
also
stuff.
some good things like it created NASCAR.
Okay. I'm not going down NASCAR. You and I are going to have to agree to disagree on the NASCAR thing. That being said,
hey, Janna, you and I have to go to a NASCAR race.
yeah.
Once you go, you'll love it. You'll love it. You can bring in your own gear. You can have an RV in the center circle.
NASCAR.
We can do a live show, and we can interview people at Talladega.
Talladega Nights. Okay, I'll compromise with you, and we can talk about the movie Talladega Nights.
That's with Will Ferrell, right?
Yes, it is.
I love that.
I won't go that far. I'll get that close to NASCAR.
But you are so right. If you look back at it, not only did Prohibition create the mob, it killed a bunch more people, right? Because they started to then drink bathtub rum or whatever. So bad.
But get this. Let's say that you're 15 or 16 and Prohibition has been going on and people are drinking anyway. Do you think you're going to drink? You're damn straight you're going to drink. Are you going to value alcohol? Yes, you are. And when Prohibition is finally over and everybody's like, stick it to the man, those assholes shouldn't have been telling me what to do anyway. You're going to have a different relationship to alcohol. And so the way people have interpreted their environments, I was just thinking about this the other day after I watched the Ken Burns documentary on Prohibition on PBS documentaries.
I love that, guys. Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought, oh my God, my grandparents were around. They were going through that. Oh crap. They were teenagers. You think that didn't create an impact? That was like the big topic of the times. So to bring a culture of alcohol with you into your marriage, into your children's children, you can see how that whole generation, they were the generation that had the cut crystal decanters. My grandparents just drank a lot of these. They'd go through one of these every day or two. But yeah, well, I would have too. If that would have been me and in that generation with that mentality, I would have been right there. So
you smoke like a chimney.
But it's still not alcohol's fault. It still comes to personal choice. And to say, no, I'd rather just drink. And that's okay too. It's not about, it's about taking personal responsibility for what you want to do. Yeah. Not being apologetic about what you want to do. What you want to do is fine. Yes. And some people want to drink and some don't.
And Janna, here's another thing. Smoking, right? Like smoking.
Same thing.
Same thing. One thing I would say with smoking though is if you educate people, educate them about smoking and all that, then they have information to make a choice, right? Back in the 50s, they were actually saying, 9 out of 10 doctors recommend Camels, right?
Yeah, it was good for digestion.
Yeah.
And who didn't want to look like the Marlboro Man?
Right.
Well, the women didn't, but they wanted to be with them. I was like, if that Marlboro Man could just come down off that poster, I'd be fine, right?
Yeah. So for me, it's about education. That obviously you didn't know that lead paint, like if you chipped off lead paint and ate it, you're gonna die. Asbestos, the same thing. Look. I think I tell my brother this, right? Our mom, had perms from 1978 until 2019. I make up that those chemicals were not good for her. Somebody who never smoked, never didn't work in asbestos, she got lung cancer. Well, how does that happen? That toxic shit every 2 weeks with that? Look, I can say, and people still do it, that ammonia, nasty stuff. Okay. But just educate people on it. And then it's your choice. Hey, you want to smoke, you're going to kill people, or you're going to kill yourself, likely you get lung cancer. But if you're okay with that, then whatever, smoke.
Yeah. It's, and some people, like I'm thinking of a friend of mine. I keep confidentiality here. We haven't spoken in a while. Just, we're fine. It's just we haven't caught up in a while. And I have a friend concerned about how much he drinks, but he doesn't have enough want to quit. His reasons for drinking outweigh his wanting to quit.
Okay.
But that's not alcohol. That's not alcohol's fault.
Yeah. Is it affecting his life? Like, did he lose his job? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it affecting his life in ways that he doesn't want?
It affects some things, and he's concerned about his physical health. That's his want to. And you might argue, well, that's a big want to. Like for me, I would drink less. Like I would have 3 more Buffalo Milks right now, except I have swim practice at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, and
you don't want to get hammered
experience. So I'm having one. Okay. And that's why, because I have a lot of love of swim practice, and I have a lot of love of feeling good in the morning. So that's my want to. For my friend, the physical well-being is there, but it's not enough, because there are other life situations that, let's take a hypothetical person. If your relationship it sucks and you're not willing to get out of it. Yeah. If your job sucks and you're not willing to get out of it. If your living situation sucks and you're not willing to get out of it. If you want a relationship, but you've decided you don't want to get hurt and you're not willing to do anything about that, and you're not willing to open your heart, then you can say, I want my physical body to be healthy. But why? It's so that you can continue to be enraptured by your wonderful life. Well, if your wonderful life is so closed off and shut down that there's not much joy in it, then your physical health and well-being, you might go, wow, I really don't want a painful death. But there's part of you that doesn't care enough about, or doesn't see a way out. How do I get passion? How do I have joy? How do I have peace of mind? How do I quit worrying? How do I overcome this? How do I fix that? And so
hire Janna, that's how.
There's not enough want to. And that's why people will continue to smoke, continue to overeat, continue to overdrink. And it's not because they can't stop. It's because they don't want to.
Yeah. Yeah.
If they wanted to live 100% and that desire was more, stopping would be much easier. So it's easier to say I'm choosing to drink rather than face my spouse and we don't like each other. Because I've chosen to stay married.
Yeah.
And I'm comfortable with my decision. And drinking helps me feel great, even though I don't like the person I'm with. And then they come to me and go, but I know that it's hurting my body. Can you help me quit alcohol? I'm going to have the conversation about their relationship.
There's a digging of a root.
Yeah,
because you could quit alcohol, then it's going to be something else. Wow, I just smoked some crack yesterday, and that's even better than alcohol. I could put up with that person even more.
Yeah.
It's always going to be something else.
So if you think you can't, try asking yourself with love and without the judgment that sometimes shows up for us of why am I choosing this? What's more important?
Yeah. And to not exactly what you said, beat yourself up. Because
No.
look,
It's
who's
okay.
to
It's okay
us
to, it's
judge
okay to drink and it's okay to weigh as much as you want.
do whatever you want.
It's okay
Exactly.
to not be in a relationship. I'm not an advocate of trying to decide what's right for people. I mean, I know what's right for me.
Bing. As Ned Ryerson would say, bing.
Oh God, Groundhog Day. You know what? Why did we not do a Groundhog? Oh, because
On
we didn't know
Groundhog
each other last Groundhog Day.
Yeah, we did.
No.
Yeah.
Wait, yes, we did.
We knew each other.
I went, okay,
We
I
didn't
lost my
know the
time
two
set.
Groundhog
Yeah.
Days ago.
We've had
Okay,
several
so
Groundhog Days.
we'll get Dano on next Groundhog Day 2. Oh my God.
What?
2/2/22. That's the next Groundhog Day.
My
Coincidence?
goodness. You
I
and
think
numbers. Just brilliant. I'm so impressed.
Go 2/2/22. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. I've already figured it out. We're gonna
We're
throw
gonna
a
have two
Groundhog
Buffalo
Day
Milks
party.
that day?
Yeah, we're gonna throw a Groundhog Day party with buffalo milk
Okay.
on Catalina.
Hey, we can combine movies. We got the fucking Catalina wine mixer on Groundhog Day.
And that is transformative too.
That is.
Although, okay, so what we're gonna do, you and I are gonna sing Boats and Hoes.
We were just
And we're
talking
gonna get our buddy Vinny,
Yeah.
Vinny who has 5 Emmy Awards. We're gonna have him film it, and it's gonna be zany.
Where are we going to get the hose? Don't look at me. Okay, I'll be at the hoe. Okay, yeah, I got the boat.
Boats and Hoes, Boats and Hoes. Gotta get me some Boats and Hoes.
Boats and hoes.
That movie was
Boats and
so
hoes.
good.
Boats and hoes. Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to sing the whole I know way too many of the lyrics of that song, and they're completely inappropriate
Hey, you know what?
for the children out there
Again,
watching.
the context that we live in, what is appropriate, what is inappropriate, right? Look, great movie. So 2/2/22, that's powerful. But yes, as Ned Ryerson would say, zing, bing,
Bing.
bing. Zing is the Zing bot, which is a very famous character on Big Brother.
Okay, this
I'm
whole Big
just
Brother
saying
thing
you-
it's going
Yeah.
right over my head. I must watch it.
Do you have CBS All Access?
No, I don't.
Okay. I'll share you my login. Nah, see, CBS is gonna sue me now. But we'll make it happen. So
Okay.
the new season just started, and Zach was very disappointed because that's his favorite show ever, right? Big Brother. Now, we have this idea. And again, right? So we're just it's free play right now. We're free playing right now, right? As we say, HypnoTalk is free playing. I told Zach when he turns 18, he can get on Big Brother. Like he could be 18 years old on Big Brother. That's the youngest. So that's his number one, Big Brother. You get on Big Brother when you turn 18. And again, the Vinny guy, Mr. Emmy man, he was almost on Survivor. Fun fact. The guy he knows how to film these videos. Anyway, so the second thing that we're gonna do is after he parlays his Big Brother experience and gets a bunch of FaceTime, probably wins it knowing that guy. Amazing Race. He and I are gonna go on Amazing Race. And it's going to be that, zany dad, brainiac, big brain, stoic son. Then, and see, this is where he and I disagree, but then I told him, look, then you can parlay all this, you can build yourself up, and then you will go on Survivor because he loves Survivor and he wants to go on Survivor.
Yeah.
So he goes, why? do I have to wait? And I said, okay, look, no offense, mister, but you're not the most like physically, beast of a guy. You're going to have to, kind of work out a bit to really get on and win Survivor. So, but he thinks, the younger you are, the more endurance you have, which, hey, I don't know. I can't argue with that because I'm in like really great shape now. I'm probably in better shape now than I was when I was 28 years old. And some say 28, you're in your prime.
Is that thanks to all the buffalo milks or some other training regimen? I mean, it's a bicep.
You know what,
And there's
Janna, this is what it is. It's enjoying life like a maniac on a mission every single day.
Woo!
And my God, if I didn't, even when things were the worst, and some stories, I always looked at the bright side of things. And I've always been like that. Even when I've been at war at AOL, I went to war for 12 and a half years. But I look at the bright side of things. So eye makeup, that works. What worked is being a maniac on a mission. What didn't work was not being a maniac on a mission. There you go. So.
Well said.
And we are at the 2-hour mark. Janna, we did it.
We did. And we could do many hours more, but for the mercy of all of you listeners out there in Happy Hypnoland,
we're going to peace.
You're going to just need to let us off the hook this one time. But come back for another exciting episode of HypnoTalk next Sunday, I assume.
Yes.
Unless nothing better comes along in our lives.
Next Sunday.
Yeah. Same bat time, same bat channel.
And follow Ms. Janna on Instagram. She does these 2-minute short videos, which are phenomenal. Very, very great.
The last 2 weeks, I was completely remiss and just lost my mind.
Well,
but I'm going to start again. I have so much. Yeah, I'm down I go down the alphabet.
Subscribe right over. Let's see on.
Yeah.
Facebook or no? Sorry, on it's right there.
Over and down.
Subscribe there, down.
Yeah,
right there.
And there's like the little bell whammer jammer.
Yeah.
That too.
So until next time, Ms. Janna, this was absolutely incredible. I had a phenomenal time.
Well, say bye to Joe and thanks, and have a good time in Palm Springs.
Will do. Peace.
Peace.